For Halloween, I was a bride for like 2 years straight. I just wanted to wear like a gown. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just like I wanted to like literally be married, or if I just liked the idea of having an excuse to like wear a fancy gown to school.
They told you it was organic. They told you it was accidental. 2 co-stars, 1 set, and a love story that the whole world fell for. But here's what nobody told you. The timeline doesn't add up. The denials came too fast.
A lot of anxiety this day because this dress barely got finished, and it's kind of not finished. Like, it never quite got to what we were hoping it to get to, but it worked, it turned on, we had the theatrics of it all. The whole thing, it was camp, so it was supposed to be fun, and so we just leaned into that, and I left my shoe on the red carpet, you know, had my Cinderella moment of graduating from my Disney days, but after this one, I needed a few Mets off. Spider-Man premiere.
And the PR machine that built this romance had been running long before either of them admitted a single thing.
Okay, let's get into it. We are going back. This is a photo from a Tinkerbell premiere. Those were my favorite boots. A combat boot with like a stud on it. If I saw them, I was buying them. Everything with a combat boot. Like skirt with a combat boot, dress with a combat boot, skinny jean with a combat boot, combat boot. That was the vibes then. I don't know what this is giving, but it was like girly, but tough, but cool, but not trying too hard, but age appropriate. You know what I mean? I was like 13, you know? So I think it's
Zendaya Marie Stormer Coleman. Born in Oakland, raised in the spotlight, she went from Disney's shuffled hallways to the cover of every major fashion magazine on the planet. She didn't just grow up, she transformed.
I feel like my personal style, because I get to explore so much within characters and through red carpets, I feel like I often gravitate towards like the same thing in my real life, so I end up kind of wearing a uniform and then a few fun pieces here and there. Okay, let's get into it. We are going back. This is a photo from a Tinkerbell premiere. Those were my favorite boots. A combat boot with like a stud on it. If I saw them, I was buying them. Everything with a combat boot. Like skirt with a combat boot, dress with a combat boot, skinny jean with a combat boot, combat boot. That was the vibes then. I don't know what this is giving, but it was like girly, but tough, but cool, but not trying.
And she did it in front of millions of people who thought they knew her story. Tom Holland, the British kid from Kingston who swung into the Marvel universe and never left. Charming, self-deprecating, the kind of guy who makes you forget he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars because he's laughing at himself in a car interview. They were cast together in Spider-Man Homecoming in 2016. They were, by all accounts, just colleagues, just friends, just co-stars. Except nothing in Hollywood is ever just anything. Here's what the timeline looks like on the surface. 2 young actors meet on a Marvel set. They spend months together, sparks fly, romance blossoms. They deny it publicly for years. And then one day, a paparazzi photo drops, the denials stop, and suddenly the world celebrates what was always hiding in plain sight. Sweet, simple, believable. But pull back the curtain, and the story starts to look very different. In 2017, just 1 year after Homecoming wrapped, photos surfaced of Tom and Zendaya together in a car. Intimate, comfortable, the kind of closeness that doesn't happen after a year of knowing someone. Their reps immediately denied anything romantic. Zendaya herself addressed it, calling Tom a great guy and her closest friend. Nothing more. The internet moved on. But the question that nobody asked out loud was this: if there was nothing to hide, why was the denial so rehearsed? Stay with me, because this is where it gets complicated. In the years between 2017 and 2021, Zendaya's public profile exploded. Euphoria made her a cultural phenomenon.
Miss Tashi. Giving someone hell, okay? All right, ruining a man's life. We love to see it. This is a still from Challengers, a film that I'm very proud of, very lucky to be a part of. This is the iconic I Told You shirt that is a reference from JFK Jr., actually. A lot of his kind of paparazzi pictures were references for Patrick, and we kind of needed this shirt that would travel between the characters, and so he chose that. And it's kind of perfect. I'm really grateful that people enjoyed it. I would see a lot of Halloween costumes as the three of us and look-alike competitions. It was so fun.
She won an Emmy at 24, the youngest person to ever do it, and every fashion house on Earth was suddenly fighting for her presence.
Okay, this is one of my favorites. This is the Joan of Arc Met look. I went with Versace this year. I remember our fitting and just kind of being blown away by the detail. It's so interesting because it is kind of so literal and almost camp in a way, but somehow feels like I'm not wearing a costume. And then popping that red wig on, I think was like the perfect touch. But yeah, this shit was so heavy though, because the beading and then the pieces on top. I was working out that night and my feet hurt so bad. So I was just struggling along. I was like, where is the dinner? Where is a chair? But it was worth it. This is another one of my faves. This was the Emmys.
She was no longer a Disney alumni. She was a power player.
This is a Vera Wang dress. I remember seeing the sketches, and at the time I was just really into emerald green. So I was like, I would love to do emerald green, and I was also playing around with my hair being red. And I love when redheads wear emerald green. It just looks so beautiful. I've kind of done all the hair colors that I wanted to try. I did blonde for Challengers press tour. Then I just was like, all right, time to cut it all off. I think I'm gonna have short hair for a long time. And plus hair has like a lot of energy in it. And I feel like I had been in so many characters and lived so much life in that hair, and it was time to get rid of it.
Tom, meanwhile, was deepening his grip on the Marvel Universe. 3 Spider-Man films, Avengers.
Like referencing some of the different villains as well, because there was a lot of old villains returning in this. So we have the spiderweb earrings. The boots are really fun. I don't know if their intention was for it to look like a spiderweb, but to us it did, which obviously is very fitting for Spider-Man. So this was our take on spiderweb, but make it fashion, you know? I love this. This is
a string of smaller projects that reminded critics he had range beyond the suit. His fan base was enormous, loyal, and deeply invested in his personal life. And here's the detail that the entertainment press glossed over entirely. Both of their teams underwent significant restructuring between 2017 and 2021. New management, new publicists, new strategic priorities. The kind of behind-the-scenes reshuffling that happens when someone is being repositioned, not just as a talent, but as a brand. And what's the most powerful tool in a celebrity brand arsenal? A love story. Because in July 2021, another photo dropped. Tom's car, Zendaya, a kiss that neither of them could deny because it was right there in broad daylight. This time, there was no rehearsed statement, no careful deflection. Tom posted on Instagram confirming it, calling Zendaya his MJ in real life. Sweet, spontaneous, romantic. Or was it? The photo that broke the story was taken by a photographer who just happened to be at the right place at the right time in Los Angeles, where photographers are everywhere, yes, but where celebrity PR teams also have very established relationships with very specific agencies. The photo was clean, the lighting was good, the angle was almost cinematic. Industry insiders have noted, and this is not conspiracy, this is documented practice in celebrity PR, that so-called candid moments are sometimes the most carefully constructed moments in a public figure's entire year. A strategic leak, a controlled reveal, a narrative moment timed to coincide with a project announcement, a contract renewal, or a studio's need for positive press. And what was dropping that same summer? Spider-Man: No Way Home, one of the most anticipated Marvel films in a decade. Marvel needed headlines. Marvel needed goodwill. And suddenly, America's favorite fictional couple became America's favorite real couple, right on schedule. The film broke box office records. Their red carpet appearances were coordinated masterclasses in romantic visual storytelling.
You know, I love this. This is Valentino with PP. I think we just kind of wanted to have a beautiful old Hollywood glamorous moment. This felt like that, or I guess our interpretation of that. In the atelier, they handmade all these gorgeous silk roses to attach to this dress. So it was also quite heavy. Kind of was more of a shimmy dress, like you kind of had to shimmy along. So yeah, this was definitely one that it's like we get our beautiful picture, make sure we give the dress her moment, and then we change into something that I can sit in, because it was...
Every interview was warm, funny, effortlessly intimate.
The internet lost its mind. Fan accounts exploded. Every media outlet ran the same story. Hollywood's most adorable love story is finally confirmed. But here's the thread nobody pulled. In multiple interviews since 2021, both Zendaya and Tom have been asked directly, when did it start? And the answers are never quite the same. The dates shift, the timelines bend. Sometimes it was during filming, sometimes it was after, sometimes it was a slow build, sometimes it was a single moment. That's not how people talk about the beginning of their real relationships. That's how people talk about a story they've been asked to maintain, but never fully memorized. None of this means the love isn't real. It might be completely, genuinely real. But the mechanism around it, the timing, the denials, the reveal, the synchronization with a billion-dollar film release, that mechanism did not happen by accident. Zendaya has spoken at length about growing up in public, about the careful, deliberate way she navigated the transition from child star to adult artist. She has always been aware of her image. She has always been intentional. Those are her own words.
Ended up using it in this is literally in my backyard, and that's pretty much how it came out. So I got to get the look out, but I got to control it a little bit. In my partnership with Law, I think we've always taken risks. I think what was important to me as I kind of grew up in front of people was I never wanted to be too grown too quick. I just kind of slowly started to experiment with different pieces as I grew into my womanhood. You know what I mean? I was oh, I'm grown now. I can wear a little something.
And that level of intentionality doesn't just disappear when it comes to the most personal parts of her life. The real question isn't whether Tom and Zendaya are in love. The real question is who decided when the world was allowed to know about it.
The Screen Actors Guild Awards. I felt very, very lucky to be wearing it. This is a look that Law had pulled for a press tour. I think we were just kind of worried that I would have a nip slip. Truthfully, we didn't know that if I couldn't control the image, it's a lot of titty. We're giving a lot of titty. And I have little itty bitty titties, but this is that's like a Dorito chip. You know what I mean? Of a bra. I think we ended up using it in this is literally in my backyard. And that's pretty much how it came out. So I got to get the look out, but I got to control it a little bit. In my partnership with Law, I think we've always taken risks. I think what was important to me as I kind of grew up in front of people was I never wanted to be too grown too quick. I just kind of slowly started to experiment with different pieces as I grew into my womanhood.
And what was being sold at the same time? Because in Hollywood, the most romantic stories are often the most profitable ones, and the most profitable stories are never left to chance. The leaked photo that launched 1,000 think pieces, the carefully timed confirmation, the synchronized press appearances, the silence that stretched for years.
This is Ms. Rue going through it, as always, in the same old white tank top and a vintage button-up. There's 2 rings that she wears on these 2 fingers, and those were my mom's rings. While incredibly unpredictable, I think the way she presents herself to the world is also really consistent. She likes to make sure that she herself is comfortable and stays in her comfort zone. So it's the same shoes, same hair, same tank top, same, hoodie. I have a little archive of all her clothes. So everything that I've worn on the show, I have.
And the noise that was switched on exactly when the studios needed it. There are still things that haven't been addressed. Documents that haven't been released, former assistants who have spoken off the record. A pattern of timing between major film releases and personal revelations that is too consistent to be coincidence. Who actually controls the narrative in a relationship this visible?
Are you someone that's drunk up their wedding look since you were little?
Yes and no. I think I, for whatever reason, really wanted to be married as a kindergartner. For Halloween, I was a bride for 2 years straight. I just wanted to wear a gown. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just I wanted to literally be married, or if I just liked the idea of having an excuse to wear a fancy gown to school.
And at what point does a love story stop being a love story and start being a product? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. And if you want to know what else Hollywood has been hiding in plain sight, subscribe to Snap Craze Hub, because we're just getting started.